Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Nara Uttamam Devin Sarasatim Vyasa Tachudaya Mudiret Nasta Preya Swabhradvesu Nityamba Vatam Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki. Hare Krishna. So we are taking our reading today is combo verses. We'll start from text number 26 through 29. Esa dainamdina sago brahmas trailokya vatana tiyamni priti devanam sambhavo yatra kamabim. Esa dainamdina sago brahmas trailokya vatana tiyamni priti devanam Sambhavo Jatra Kamabim. Word for word translation. Esa, all these creations, Denam Denaha, daily, Saga, creation, Brahma, in terms of the days of Brahma, Trilokya Vatana, revolution of the three worlds, Tiyak, animals lower than the human beings, Nri, human beings, Priti, of the Pita planets, Devanam, of the demigod, Sambhava, appearance, Yatra, wherein, Karma being, in the circle of fruitive activity. Translation and explanation by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jaga Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the creation, during Brahma's day, the three planetary system, Swaga, Matya, and Patala, revolve, and the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, and Pitas, appear and disappear in terms of their fruitive activity. There is no purport to this text, so we'll go to the next text, 27. Manvatare subhagavan vibra satvam swamotibi manavadi bi idam viswam vitya udita purusa. Translation. In each and every change of Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears by manifesting his internal potencies in different incarnations as Manu and others. Thus, he maintains the universe by discovered power. Text number 28. Tamu matram upadaya rati samruda vikrama kalena nugata sesa astetusnim dinatyaye. Translation. At the end of the day, under the insignificant portion of the mode of darkness, the powerful manifestation of the universe merges in the darkness of night. By the influence of eternal time, the innumerable living entities remain merged in that dissolution, and everything is silent. There is a purport to this text, so purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jaga Guru Srila Prabhupada. This verse is an explanation of the night of Brahma, which is the effect of the influence of time. Which is the effect of the influence of time. in touch with an insignificant portion of the mode of material nature in darkness. The dissolution of the three worlds is effected by the incarnation of darkness, Rudra, represented by the fire of eternal time, which blazes over the three worlds. These three worlds are known as Bhu, Bhuva, and Swaha, Patala, Mritya, and Swaga. The innumerable living entities merge into that dissolution, which appears to be the dropping of the curtain of the scene of the Supreme Lord's energy, and so everything becomes silent. The next text also has a purport, text number 29. Tam eva na pidiyante lokabu adayastraya nisayam anuvritayam nimokta sasibhaskaram. Translation. When the night of Brahma ensues, all the three worlds are out of sight, and the sun and the moon are without glare, just as in the due course of an ordinary night. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is understood that the glare of the sun and moon disappear from the sphere of the three worlds, but the sun and the moon themselves do not vanish. They appear in the remaining portion of the universe, which is beyond the sphere of the three worlds. The portion in the solution remains without sun rays or moon glow. It all remains dark and full of water. There are infatigable winds, as explained in the following verse. Mukankaroti vachalam, pangam langayate girim, yakripatva mahavande, sigurudinatarinam. Yakripatva mahavande, paramananda madhava, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Ishvaraha. Hare Krishna. The title of the text may not be too closely connected with this 4 slokas, because it's titled Calculation of Time from the Atoms. And Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur describes the chapter as Description of Time. And to have a clear picture of this text, we'll be able to borrow some understanding from Prabhupada's purport of the 3rd chapter, text number 10 of Bhagavad Gita. The translation of that text is that in the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generation of men and demigods, along with sacrifice of Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this sacrifice." Because a performance will bestow upon you everything desired for living happily and achieving liberation. So you can see that the 4 texts put together is centered around this concept: creation, duties for creation, presence of men and demigods, and then duty, sacrifices for us to live happily here, and also to achieve liberation. So in transit between the creation and the ultimate end that we exist, this is what these 4 texts are speaking about. And in the purport, Prabhupada said emphatically, the material creation by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned soul to come back home, back to Godhead. So in creation, there is an accompanying of opportunities offered to the conditioned living entities. It is a package. Now, in course of this packaging, there's evolution of activities and evolution of the living entity. There's the creation of the 3 planetary systems. The upper planetary system, which is the heavenly planets, the medium planetary system where we are, and the lower planetary system. And they are referred to in this text here as Swaga, Matya, and Patala. So we evolve within the 3 worlds. And in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text number 16 through 21, it helps us to have a better picture of what we are dealing with. In that 18, in chapter 8 text 16 is mentioned here. Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Punavatino Arjuna Mamupetia Tukonteya Punajamma Navidyate. From the highest planet that is referred to here as Saga, in the material world, to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So this is how to track or stop this evolutionary process, moving up, moving down, because it is the result of our activities that determine where we go next. Sometimes we go down, sometimes we remain here, and sometimes we go up. But everybody aspires higher planetary system for the fact that there are better living facilities in the higher planetary system. So in some other text, say Brahmananda Brahmeti Kona Bhagyavan Jeev. As we are wandering from planetary system to planetary system, from species to species, lifetime after lifetime, when we encounter the opportunity to associate with devotees of the Lord, then we get the seed of perfection planted in our life. It is at that time that the conception of Vasudeva Savamiti, that everything is caused by Vasudeva. And when that realization comes, we become Samahatma, Sudulaba. So in the next text, it mentions, in relationship with this very text we are reading now, by human calculation, 1,000 years taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day. And also is the duration of his night. The next text, at the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state. And therefore, after, when the night falls, they all merge into the unmanifested again. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all the living entities come into being. And when the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. You can see that the 4 texts we are reading are accommodated in this text also. And he concluded by saying, yet there is another unmanifested nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested, unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So you can see in the last text that we read that everything becomes silent, but the moon and the star, they don't stop existing. They don't wind with the creation, but they just lose their glow. But the sun and the moon are still functioning in those planetary systems where there is no annihilation. And in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, text number 6, Krishna mentioned that that eternal abode of mine, na tabasaya te suryo na sanshako na pavaka yadgatwa nanibatante tadama paramamamam. That supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or moon. So when you say the planets that are not annihilated, they don't refer to the supreme abode of the spiritual world, where the sun is reflecting. Because here, Krishna is making us know that his own abode is not illuminated by the sun or the moon. Because the effulgence of the sun and reflections of the moon are the jyoti that is coming from the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is enough to illuminate his planetary system. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So that is the nature of the ultimate destination. So if we understand from the first text we read of the purport of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text number 10, that we have an opportunity. We are offered opportunity in material creation to be able to come back to Godhead. But like the English adage says, as you make your bed, so you lie on it. So according to how you utilize this opportunity, then our future destinations will be determined. The next text, specifically in text number 27, he mentioned that in each and every change of Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears by manifesting his internal potency in different incarnations as Manu and others. Thus, he maintains the universe by discovered powers. We can corroborate this statement from Bhagavad Gita, Canto and Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, text number 26. Avatara Hyasankyeya Hari Satwa Nidev Dijam Yata Vida Sina Kulia Sarasasyu Sahasrasa. O Brahmana, the incarnation of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible source of water. So in the text, he mentioned in each and every change of Manu. So it's mentioned that in the day of Lord Brahma, there are 14 Manus. And when the Manus change, there is an interlude period. It's not like spontaneous, that as soon as the change of Manu happens, then another Manu takes over immediately. Even in our secular government of today, after every election is conducted in the democratic system, the incoming leader arranges for some time to understudy, acquaint himself, and then there is the swearing-in ceremony before he assumes office. It's not that because he won the election, then automatically he becomes sworn in to power. In the same way, in the material management, the tenure of one Manu is not immediately replaced by another Manu. There's transition period. And it is in that transition period that the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself, and along with Manu and along with the demigods, for the purpose of managing the affairs of the universe. So there is system, there is structure in the creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not just abstract or vague or vacant. Everything has its own time and place. And the end of one activity marks the beginning of another, but it is done with orderliness. Now, according to this text that we are reading, text number 27, although it has no purport, but the context is clear. that the Lord manifests through his internal potency, incarnations. Not one, not two. That's why we made reference to this text, 26. Incarnation of the laws are innumerable. And so they are like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible source of water. Uncountable. But they are there, they are known, they are defined. So it's not like cannot be known. Though they are inconceivable, but they are knowable. So in the scripture, it is mentioned that the Lord manifests and is supported by the demigods and Manu. So there are 14 Manus, and these 14 Manus are listed as solos. The first Manu is Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu. And the incarnation of God that accompanies him is referred to as Yagya. And the second incarnation is Sarochisa Manu. The incarnation of God that manifested in his time is called Vibhu. And the third Manu is called Uttama Manu. And the incarnation of God that accompanied him is Satya Sena. That's number 3. Number 4 is Tamasa Manu. And the form of God that accompanied him in his tenure is Hari. And the 5th Manu is Raivata Manu. And the name of the incarnation of God that accompanied his tenure is Vaikunta. The 6th Manu, Chaksusa Manu. The incarnation of God that manifests in his tenure is Ajita. The 7th one is Vaiswasata Manu. This is very regularly referred to because of our time. And the incarnation of God in that time is referred to as Vamana. We are here. This is our own Manu. And the 8th Manu is Savani Manu. And the name of the incarnation of God that accompany him is Savabhwama. The 9th Manu is Daksha Savani Manu. The incarnation of God that manifested in the eternal is Rishaba. The 10th Manu is Brahma Savani Manu. And the incarnation of God that accompanies his tenure is Vikshwaksena. The 11th Manu is Dharma Savani Manu. And the incarnation of God that manifests along with him in his tenure is Dharma Setu. And the 12th Manu, Rudra Savani Manu. The form of God that manifests in his tenure is Sudama. And the 13th Manu is Deva Sayani Manu. Deva Sayani Manu. And the incarnation of God that accompanies his tenure is Yogeshwara. Now, these Manus, they all exist in a day of Lord Brahma. And at the beginning of another day of Lord Brahma, they are manifest again. So in the whole lifespan of Lord Brahma, there are 14 Manus with their varied tenors. They have their specific tenors. So the 14th Manu is Indra Savani Manu. And the incarnation of God that accompanied his tenure is Brihad Banu. And so it confirms this statement in the text that in each and every change of Manu, the Supreme Personality of God that appears by manifesting its internal potency in different incarnations as Manu and others. Others means demigods and great sages. What is the purpose of their manifestation? For the purpose of proper management of material affairs, material universe. Proper management. It's not like today's world where we have topsy-turvy situations. Sometimes we are helpless about the leadership. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, it is mentioned that every environment gets the type of leadership that they deserve. It's not an imposition. We call for what we get. But in the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best is what is offered for us. Because like is mentioned in that very text, the material creation is an opportunity offered. It's a present given to us. So we are not dealing with the past, which exists by law of nature. And we are not too preoccupied with the future because they automatically build into each other. But the present is now. And so whatever we have to do is in the now. We cannot do it in the past. Whatever we did in the past is why we are experiencing now. And whatever we do now will determine what we experience in the future. So the opportunity is now. And it is now that we have to take advantage of it. If we don't, we have ourselves to blame and nobody else. We have ourselves to blame. So we are about to celebrate Janmashtami. And in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text number 7 and 8, Krishna mentioned that he comes here. Although many theology and traditions, they contend that God comes here. But the beauty of the Vedic scripture is that they give you watchable facts. It's not about sect, it's not about religion, but it's about the reality of the philosophies of life. So Krishna said in that text 7, Yada yada hidamasya, glanir bhavati bharata, abhyutanam adamasya, tadatmanam sinjamyaham. So if you look at the text we are reading now, it corroborates it. God says he comes. And in the one we just finished reading now, it says in each and every change of Manu, the Supreme Personality of God appears. So there is no conflict in it. But if you peruse theology that does not corroborate with this, then Prabhupada said you have poor fund of knowledge. Information will be less. And so with that poor fund of information, we'll be contending with higher facts by ridiculing them or trying to bring them to our level. But whether we understand or we don't understand, whether we accept or we don't accept, the reality remains the reality. And that's why the Vedas is referred to as the mother of all knowledge. All what you want to know, you get it from the Vedas. Papa gave the example that if a child wants to know his father, the authority for knowing his father is the mother. And if for any reason, there are circumstances also where the mother cannot say, this is your father. There's a Brahmana boy that the guru was to initiate, and the guru said, unless I know your caste by knowing your father, I will not give you initiation. So the guru said, go and ask your mom. And the mom honestly told the boy, when I conceived you, I was just sleeping around with different men. So I cannot pinpointedly tell you now that this person is your father. Even if the boy was heartbroken or dissatisfied. But he went back to the guru and conveyed this same fact, as it is, He told the Guru what the mother said. And the Guru accepted to initiate him, even without knowing the details of his background. Just one condition. Because you told the truth, I will accept you as a disciple. He spoke the truth, he repeated it as it is. And that is the as it is that Prabhupada also ascribed to Bhagavad Gita as it is. So it confirms that God comes. And in the next text, text 8, why does he come here? Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. In order to give pleasure to the sadhus, the devotees, the practitioners of the code of religious principles, he comes. He makes them happy. And vinasaya chaduskritam, there is always contention between the demons and the devotees. So he minimized the influence of the demoniac or outrightly annihilate them. And thirdly, to reestablish the principles of religion. So Manus are referred to as father of mankind because they establish the codes of religious principles, they follow it, and they encourage the following of it, because that is what will give the ultimate benefit. We read in that text, be thou happy. No happiness will come if we live contrary to the codes of scripture. We will not be happy. So in that text of text, chapter 13, text 26, it mentions that when we discard of religious codes and we act according to our own whims and caprices, we achieve nothing. Na Sam City, Avapnoti, na Sokam, na Paramgati. We will not be perfect. We will not be happy. I will not achieve the ultimate destination. The ultimate destination we already mentioned. Although different people create different destinations for themselves. Different people create different destinations for themselves, but there is an ultimate destination which is called the Paramgati. And so when Prabhupada was discussing with Bob in Perfect Question and Perfect Answer, they titled one chapter, What is the Goal of Life? Many people will give different definitions about the goal of life, but Prabhupada put it precise. The goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. Some of us, out of knowing or unknowing conduct, would declare ourselves candidates for lower planetary system because of not acting according to the codes of the scriptural injunctions. And some of us succeed in maintaining ourselves within this environment that we are in different species, sometimes as trees, sometimes as insects, sometimes as aquatics, sometimes as demigods also. Will stay here by activity. And some who are a little bit or more informed, they aspire for a better condition of living. They want to go to the heavenly planets. So they participate in different sacrifices, different austerity, different devotional activities, and they attain higher planets. But the real goal of life is not either of these three. The real goal, which is the Psalm CD, is to go back home, back to Godhead. And that back home, back to Godhead, the conditions that prevail here does not prevail there because it's direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why Krishna said in that 15:6, that eternal abode of mine, is not illuminated by the sun, nor by moon, nor by fire or electricity. But here, our environment is illuminated by sun and by moon. And the last text we are reading here is that when that annihilation comes, the sun will still remain. The sun will not merge in the devastating ocean. It will still be there. But how it affects the sun and moon, they lose their effulgence and glow. But within the material world, there are still planets that are not annihilated when these three worlds are annihilated. One example is the pole star, Druva Loka. When all is annihilated, it's still there. And Siddha Loka, the abode of the great sages, they are there. So, but beyond that is the abode of the Supreme Personality of God. It does not go through dependence. So, if we are diligent in our chase, it is achievable. Prabhupada said, we can achieve it in one lifetime. It can also take many lifetimes. But everything is dependent on the attitude of the practitioner. So I said earlier, the English adage says, as you make your bed, so you lie on it. So the end of the day is that the opportunity offered to us is withdrawn. At the end of the day, under this significant portion of the mode of darkness, the powerful manifestation of the universe merge in the darkness of night when the night comes. By the influence of eternal time, the innumerable living entities remain merged in the dissolution and everything is silent. So a time comes, just like that phrase in the Bible says, walk now, for a time cometh when no man can walk. So now is the time. The opportunity is for now. And we have to take advantage of it. Because when the curtain is drawn, like he said in the last text there, in the last purport there, Prabhupada mentioned, it is understood that the glare of the sun and the moon disappear from the sphere of the three worlds, but the sun and moon themselves do not vanish. They appear in the remaining portion of the universe, which is beyond the sphere of the three worlds. The portion in dissolution remains without sun ray or glow. It all remains dark and full of water, and there are indefatigable wind. There's where Prabhupada mentioned the drawing of the curtain. It is in the previous purport to 28. The innumerable living entities merge into the dissolution, which appears to be dropping of the curtain of the sin of the Supreme Lord's energy, dropping of the curtain. You know, in a drama scene on the theater, when the scenes are introduced, the curtains are open, and when the scenes are to come to an end, they draw the curtain. So the same thing with material creation. The curtain is open with opportunities for everybody to strive, and there is nobody who is stopping us. We are the ones who determine what we get. And the whole purpose of the scripture is to give us like inspiration, motivation, and convictions to be able to function properly. And then if we do diligently what we are supposed to do, the benefit is also guaranteed. But when we discard it, we are the losers. When we discard it, in that text, 1623, it mentions it, that if you neglect the scriptural codes and you act according to your own whims and caprices, Yasastra vidim ustrija, vatate kama karata, na sam sidi avapnoti, na sokam, na paramgati. So it is clear. Everything is made clear from inception. And it is still clear at the end also that once the curtain is dropped, these opportunities that are offered, they are also withdrawn. In that stage, we are helpless. Everything that is in existence winds up. The living entities, they wind up. The curtain is drawn. And it says, the innumerable living entities remain merged in that dissolution and everything is silent. Now there is no silence. So why don't we make hay while the sun shines? Hare Krishna. Are there questions, comments, or corrections?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the delivery. Like our speaker just asked, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, you may want to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your questions or share your reflections. Arichakra Prabhu, yes, you may unmute, please.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
All glories to you, all glories to Gurudev, and all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to the assembled group.
All glories to Guru and Goranga.
Yeah, in the text, I think I've forgotten the exact, I think the last one. No, either the last one or the last but one. If you can read it, there is something that I needed to get clarification from. Where he said that, at the beginning of each Manu, at the beginning of the term of each Manu.
That is 27, second text.
Okay.
Second text.
Okay,
that is text 27.
Can you
it
read
says,
the text?
In each and every change of Manu, of Manu,
okay,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears by manifesting his internal potency in different incarnations as Manu and others.
Okay.
Thus, he maintains the universe by discovered power.
Okay. Yeah, so my question is, the way the text read, it looks as if that the incarnation of Manu and his entourage, who are supposed to come to rule, they are all the exact manifestation of the Lord. Does that mean they are not Jiva Atmas, they are direct incarnations of the Lord himself?
Both the Jivas and the living entities are all from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why Brahma said, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha is the cause of all causes. And if you look at the text, it said, through his internal potency, through his internal potency, he manifests them. Everything that is in existence is manifested at one time or the other, either through the Iladini Shakti, Samvit Shakti, or Sandini Shakti. All are the energies of the Lord. And then he manages the material world through his external energy that is said, Bhumya Puna Vayu, this separated external energy of mind. All are coming from him. So we'll be doing good job if we probe it. And if we don't have sufficient opportunity or lifespan to exhaust this probe, Prabhupada mentioned many times, because the scripture says it. We should settle for that. So the Jiva are coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He impregnated material nature by glancing over the living entities that will manifest in the material world. And material nature, Mother Earth, arranges, or Durga arranges appropriate body for these jivas at the appropriate time according to their karma. That's the first text we read, that they appear according to their fruitive, in terms of their fruitive activity, they appear and disappear. That is the first text we read. So ultimately, we're all coming from Krishna. Either we come directly in the spiritual world or in the Vaikuntha world, or manifest through Gabodakashai Vishnu in the material world. And at the time of annihilation, we merge back into him. The annihilation we are mentioning here in this text is the going back into the body of Gabodakashai Vishnu, which is still within the material world. So I wouldn't know if you have a deeper understanding of this that you can share.
No, I was just concerned about that, the way the statement is made. You know, sometimes we hear that sometimes when there is no qualified person to take a particular position, the Lord himself assumed that position. So,
very true.
So
very true.
The way this message is said, I was a little bit confused. I didn't know whether the Lord himself is the one who is assuming those positions, or what, because the way he says the Lord, what do we call it? Through his internal potency, manifest into Manu and his associates, all the people who are supposed to help him govern. And that's why I asked for that clarification. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Your statement is right. There are times, because that is the nature of the material world. Like I said, God has an automated, perfect process, unlike what we get in the material world. So he tries to paint the picture also that even for the posts of Indra, the posts of Brahma, the posts of Manu, there are times when the credibility of the living entity is not sufficient, but he doesn't leave the position vacant. He assumes it himself. He does the job. That is called, like they say here, oversight function. He performs the oversight function himself. So you are right, Prabhu.
Well, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vichakra Prabhu, for the question, and the GANGAPRASAD Prabhu for the response. In fact, I also had the same question, so I'm not going to repeat it. But what I'm deducing from the question and the answer is that there are different categories of incarnations of the Lord. And the Manvanta is one of the incarnations of the Lord. So I think it is appropriate that the Manvantas here are referred to as incarnations of the Lord. They may not necessarily be Vishnu Tattvas, they may be Jiva Tattvas, but they're still considered incarnations, just as Shakti Avesh, avatars are not Vishnu Tattvas, but they are understood to be incarnations of the Lord also. So that's my 2 cents to GANGAPRASAD.
That is a valid contribution. Very valid. Six set of avatars.
Yes.
6 set of avatars. The last is the one you mentioned, Shakti Avesha.
Yeah.
There is a Guna avatar, Lila avatar, Manvantari avatar, and Yuga avatar. All comes to 6 in all.
Yeah.
So, like you rightly said, but in God's perfect wisdom, he also makes us understand. Sometimes you don't find qualified people to fit into certain positions.
Yeah.
So they are empowered to function, or God himself does it.
Yeah.
That's why I call it oversight function.
Yeah.
Thank you for that contribution, bro.
Well, thank you, Prabhuji. I have this question about the Manus. We are currently in the reign of the seventh Manu. No,
Yeah.
that's what Manu. Now, excuse my language, it's insane for us as human beings when we consider the lifespan of these Manus in our human calculation. Now, this Manu has given us laws and rules to live in this world. But as we understand today, there are quite a number of the rules in the Manusmriti that is most likely impossible to be followed in this age. And in that case, are we disobeying Manu? And if we disobeying Manu, what is the consequences of disobeying Manu? He has come with his government and has given us rules and regulations to follow. Now, some of the rules he's giving us are way above our head. Now, what do we do? Prabhuji, I believe you accept that there are some of his laws that we cannot follow. Not that we will not be, we cannot.
I like that. Thank you very much. I will only quote Srila Krishna Pad, who said that the standards may be very high. We don't have to drag it down to our lowly level, but we aspire for it. Yes, they are very high, but we can gun for it. That's the contribution I can make. Yes, but then they were not given out of imposition or intimidation. But we have to strive according to our own capacity. Just like he said in that purport, that as living entity being part and parcel of the true personality of Godhead, we have the qualities of the personality of Godhead, of which one is minute independence. We can use our independence rightly and we'll be liberated. And if we misuse our independence, we become conditioned. So when you ask, will there not be consequences? That is the consequence. If you don't hit the mark, you become nitya bada, eternally conditioned. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I asked this question because I came across some debate on Facebook some time ago. Devotees were debating, and there are lots of statements made in the Manusmriti that
Manu Samhita.
Manusamhita that cannot be followed in this age. There are so many, but one, the Manusamhita very much adheres to the caste system. The Manusamhita adheres so much to the caste system, which the same Vedic scriptures does not condone the caste system. So these are some of the challenges, because if we were to go strictly by the Manu Samhita laws, then I cannot sit here and be speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. But here I am speaking and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam to try to purify myself if I'm intelligent enough, you know. But we'll see. Well, I have no means of communicating with Manu, but if I can, then I would suggest to him to be merciful upon us, because it's too difficult. notwithstanding or not going against what Dr. Maharaj said, we do not want to pull it down. We want to try to go up to the level of Manu. But in this age, it's too much. It's too much. Well, we'll see. Anyone with something else to ask or to share?
I have one little addition to what you just said. Tell her to drop it. You said it is very impossible. And you now personalize it. That you as a person, it's impossible to give Bhagavatam class. But when I started the class, I said, Mukankaruti Vachalampangam Langa Tigrim, Ya Kripa Twamahamande, si Guru Dinatarina. It is by the Kripa of Guru that all these things are seemingly impossible, they become possible. So the onus is that we just take very, very strong shelter of the spiritual master. Strong shelter. I was reading one article that was written that Prabhupada was referring that it is Brahminical culture to worship Saligram Shila. But he didn't introduce it because the devotees who are coming now are not from Brahminical background. But you can see that Prabhupada mentioned somewhere, we are trying to raise Brahminical or Brahmins. It's part of what we want to achieve, raise them. He said when they have become Brahminical in their inclination, then we can introduce Saligram Shila worship.
Yeah.
But for now, he says that in the chanting of the holy name, the Nam Sankirtan, the benefit in every other worship is embedded in it. So let us just hold up the lotus seat of the spiritual master, follow his instructions diligently, and that which we think is impossible, they will become possible. It is achievable. That is just what I can add to what you just said. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. I strongly believe in that. But at this stage in my devotional service, me and Shalagram Shila are zillion miles distant apart. Shalagram Shila can stay wherever he wants to stay. I will stay here and try to deal with Gora Nitai.
Yeah, but you lose nothing. You got nothing to
Thank
lose.
You. Thank you.
You got nothing to lose.
In fact, I was also surprised to hear, I read from Sri Prabhupada, because I used to think that only like brahmachari sannyasis could worship Shalagram. But Sri Prabhupada himself also said grihastas can also be able to worship Shalagram.
It's actually recommended specifically for grihastas.
Yeah, but I said no, not yet.
But it's very simplistic. Shalagram worship is very simple. It's simpler than anything that we do in the altar.
I'm trying to cut my coat according to my size.
Well, maybe you don't know your size also.
You're right. That's why I have to go to the tailor.
Good one, huh?
Yes.
Good one.
Well,
let's stick to the Sankirtan duties. Because Mahaprabhu said in the Shikshak Sakam, Nam nama kari bahuda niba shava shaktis tatra pita niyamita smarane nakala etadrisita vakripa bhagavama do daivam idisam ihajani anuraga. If we cannot do Saligram Shila, it will be unfortunate if we don't also take to the holy name. Because in the names, you have hundreds and millions of names, and you have invested all your energy. It didn't say some.
Yeah.
All in the holy name. So that is our point of safety. And what that article I was reading said, that the holy name chanting, it gives us benefit that is more than what Shaligram can offer to us.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the institution we are in. That is the beauty of the process we are following, and it makes it very simple. Actually, at some point, I think there's no better worship than to worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, Jai.
To worship every other deity, you have to bring incense, you have to bring lamb, you have to bring water, you have to bring that, do abhishekam. But when it comes to Mahaprabhu, just raise your two hands and chant Hare Krishna, go Ranga.
That's all.
All protocols observed. You use it in that word. You made it very easy to approach you through the holy name.
Yeah.
And there are no hard and fast rules. Beautiful, huh?
Yeah. It's so beautiful. Yes.
So your niche is a good one.
But this is our unfortunate situation, because oftentimes those things that are so simple, we overlook, we pass them by and looking for so-called gold. But that simple thing is the gold itself.
Yeah, that is there. That's nature of material world. It's dual situation. But the beauty of what we have, if we stick to what Prabhupada said, that this boat of Krishna consciousness is sufficient to sail you across.
Yeah.
So all you just do is just hang on. Yeah. Hang on there. Whether you are sitting in comfort chair, or you are comfortable, or you are just perching, just stick in there. Yeah. You'll get to the destination. Yeah. So as long as we are associating with devotees, participating in devotional activities, try our best, until you become aged. You will not know the advantage that the youths have. Mm. You find out that things you did at youth, you are incapacitated to do them, and you can't help it. So, but you cannot give up at that time also. You just do your little best. Krishna understands, Krishna knows. So that is what we use to encourage ourselves. Just do your honest best. Krishna will fill the gaps.
Well, I have one last question. So we're talking about the dissolution of the three worlds. But there are other worlds within the upper planetary system that do not get dissolved. One is like what you mentioned, like the pole star Dhruvaloka. Now, does that mean that Dhruvaloka is like a Vaikuntha within the material world, or what is it? What is it that even though the material creation gets dissolved, but these few planets, even though they are also within the material creation, do not get dissolved?
Yeah, very, very, very intelligent and good question. If you study closely the killing of Hiranyakashipu, the benediction that he asked of Brahma, he said, not inside, not outside, not in the daytime, not in the nighttime, not by this weapon, not by that, not by that, not by that. And when Nisingade wanted to kill him, he observed all these requests. He didn't annul any, he observed them. And so if you take the example of in between at the doorstep is not inside the house, it's not outside the house. So that is kept. The same way this planetary system, they are at the border of between the spiritual world and the material world. The cutting. Mm. So at that cutting level, you cannot outrightly say it's material world. You cannot also say it's spiritual world, but they exist somewhere. There's a location. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So in the arrangement of God, it's so perfect. Everything is kept intact. Yeah. That is why there is one word, it said, Teri Lila Prabhuji, Neri Neri. It is inconceivable, but it is knowable. You may not conceive a function, but it is knowable. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Like I said, Srila Prabhupada said to Brahmatirtha Prabhu the goal of human life is to go back home, back to God. We pray that we all go back home and get away with wanting to know this. This is the curiosity of the living entity keeping us here. We want to know this, we want to know that, you know. Oh, Krishna.
Well, good.
Yes, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, your grace. Please get me answered my special obeisances. All glory to Guru Deva, all glory to Prabhupada, and all glory to you. Thank you for the wonderful
Guru and
question.
Goranga. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Prabhu.
Yes, your grace. I have this question in mind, which always I wanted to ask, but since right now His Grace Sahadev Prabhu mentioned about Hiranyakasipu, I want to take the opportunity to ask this question. So my question is that Hiranyakasipu come all the way as Jagai and Magai with different incarnations. They were Vijay and Magai. If I'm right, they are the security of the spiritual world, or
Jai Vijay.
Jai Vijay,
yes.
Yes. So they were doing their duty when the Kumaras came, and they were cursed because they did not allow them to enter. And what they are doing is their duty. So they were cursed to become demons. And at that time, I was listening to one class, I think 2 classes, and one from my Guru Maharaj, he said at least Hiranyakashipu give us Nasimadev to worship. At least he give us some deity to worship. And at the same time, I was listening to one class, which I really don't remember, that when Nasimadev killed Hiranyakashipu, he put his intestines as a garland. In other ways, like to glorify him. So is it so? Are they really demons? Because they at least they give us Nasimadev to worship. So what they are playing, are they playing Lila, or they were really demons? Because we sometimes
very good question.
Our prayers we used to say that remove the demons from our heart and so on. So my question is, are they really demons like you used to say? Because to me, I think for the little that I know, if maybe I might be wrong, I don't think they are demons. They were playing their lila. So if you can help me to understand that, this is my question.
Very good. I like this aspect, especially when we are studying that canto in Bhakti Vaibhava. The sin mentions they were costs and they were given option also. It was a two-way thing. When Vishnu intervened, or Narayana intervened and apologized and took responsibility for their misconduct. Whatever misdoing a servant has is the fault of the master. Okay? And he said they should review the course. And the 4 Kumaras gave 2 options. Either you take birth for longer years as in the family of Brahmanas, 10 times, or 3 times in the family of demons.
Oh.
This option is there. Beyond all of this is that they chose to take birth as demons. It's choice. And why? Because it is like a truth that God will come and save them. God is the one who will come and save them. And they want it faster. They don't want to have, like Mahaprabhu said, you got itan na chaksusa pravisa itam. Feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. So 10 lifetimes, the whole of Brahmana will be missing out.
Yes.
But the icing on the cake is when they came down here, they left their original spiritual body and continued their spiritual activities in the spiritual world. They assumed that body to come and enact the pastime because God did want a tough fight. And there's nobody who can feel God's yearning than the devotees of God. So you are right if you say they are not demons. That is absolute truth. But then they came here as demons, so who can refute that? But then what I learned from that is that first offense of chanting the holy name. First offense. Every day we are doing it, and we are not mindful of it, and it's affecting us. So if you speak about Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and all the other incarnations of the three times, like the way Shishupal was speaking about Krishna, you get your head severed. So the first offense of blaspheme devotees. They are devotees. So when speaking about them, we can speak about them with straw in our teeth, in our mouths, in Kalabasini, broken language. Because they are devotees, exalted devotees. They never left Vaikuntha in the reality, and they are still in Vaikuntha now. So what makes them demon? So it's Lila, like you said. They came here to enact that pastime of giving God a fierce fight. If you watch the video documentary of Hiranyaksha and Varaha fighting, you'll be amazed. Different weapons, and if you see how Varaha was screaming, yelling, and hitting him, but he also was giving him a tough one. That's what he desired. Nobody else could give him that much. You understand? So
Yes,
I
yes, yes.
appreciate your curiosity, but this is my understanding.
Yes, thank you so much. Because I was really thinking about it. So how can be a demon if they are, it's not their fault because they are doing their job. So and they care about
Yes,
that. So
and
thank you
in that portion,
so
he
much.
also mentions that it was a sin created by the Supreme Personality of God himself. He created that sin, that they should transgress the saints, and saints should curse them. Because he's looking forward, there's a future play that he wants to fight. He wants fierce fight with powerful demons. Okay, so it's all orchestrated by God.
Okay, thank you so much for clarifying my mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So with devotees also, we should be careful because they may look naughty this time. That's why I appreciate what Srila Krishnapal was saying. He said, most of the people who are giving initiation now, they will not use that initiation now. It's in the future lifetime. Because they've been conditioned to go through this experience. But when the right time comes, it will spark like fire. They'll become very, very serious devotees. So our condemning them now does not stop their future benefits. So let's just act like bridges to help them continue. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you for the question and thank you for the elucidation. Shri GANGAPRASAD PRABHU. I was happy to hear you say that the Supreme Lord, of course, he engaged Jai Vijay. And so when they were in trouble, he had to intervene. And in that regard, I was thinking of, because yesterday was Ekadashi. And
today is Ekadashi here.
Oh, today is Ekadashi for you, okay. It was yesterday for us here. And so okay. I was listening to Bhagavad Gita in an audio from Prose. And I remember hearing what Krishna was saying to Arjuna, that if one performs his prescribed duty, and if even if there is some fault, it's still better than doing someone else's duty.
Perfectly.
Yeah, so Jai Vijay, they were performing their duties, and there was fault. I think that is also a lesson for us, that even though we may be performing our duty, but we also like I think GANGAPRASAD Prabhu is very much fond of due diligence. he likes using that phrase, that word. I think it's also a lesson for us to be very diligent in rendering our service, even though it's our service. But if we sincerely trying, just like GANGAPRASAD Prabhu was saying, Jai Vijay, they commit an offense, they made a mistake, and the Supreme Lord intervened. So serving Krishna is all we needed to consider doing. Whether we are successful or not successful, we should try to serve Krishna. Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. And if no one has something else to say or ask, then we may bring this to a close, today's class to a close. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Do you have any concluding remark, Shri GANGAPRASAD Prabhu?
I only wanted to follow up on what you said. It is a motivational speech. All we need to do is engage in Krishna's service, with or without faults.
Yeah.
And Krishna will be there for us. And Krishna said that in Bhagavad Gita. Nehabi kamanastusti pratyavyayo navidyate. Swapam apyasya damasya trayato mahato bayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss, no domination. Whatever advancement we make, protect us from the most dangerous kind of fear, death. And this is in chapter 2. In chapter 6, Krishna told Arjuna, declare it boldly, Kanteya pratijanihi, name bhakta prasad. My devotee will never perish. So Krishna will be there for the devotees. Even the mistakes are there, Krishna will still fill the gap. So I only want to add that to what you said. It is like a Siddhanta.
I almost put some sand into our gari.
No. It's the Lord in the heart speaking, not you.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, dear devotees, it's been very fun. We're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace GANGAPRASAD Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us by speaking Krishna Katha from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mancha kalpatarudhyasya kripa sindhuvya vacha patam pavanambayo Vaishnavavyo namo namaha.
Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai Ho, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
GANGAPRASAD Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Let's see. Salika Prabhu?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
All right.